What's going on YouTube? Got another knife review here for you today. We're going to be looking today at the Nathan Dewey. This is the mini Gremlin. So this is a mini Balisong, a California legal Balisong, if you will. Nathan Dewey is a custom maker, not sure from where, but he's pretty much specializes in Balisongs, and I think his claim to fame is basically he uses I don't want to say random scraps of things around his house, but I think that's how, at least how he got started. But basically, you know, he's a very, I guess for lack of a better word, organic knife maker. You know, I think in the past, things that I read, you know, he basically, you know, grabs steel from his garage or, you know, random pieces. Of course, you know, if you're going to have G10, you're going to be ordering it. But you're going to kind of see as I show this knife out, you know, again, a lot of organic curves and features about this knife. Everything is handmade for the most part, sanded, and I'm assuming, you know, using machines and stuff like that. But when you look at this knife as opposed to, say, a machine-made Balisong like this Benchmade 51, you know, it's very, again, like organic, unrefined. You know, when you look at the Benchmade, you look at all the machining, everything is precisely cut out. There's jeweling on the titanium, and you know, there's no rough edges anywhere. The spine is rounded and whatnot. When you look at a knife like this that is purely handmade, you know, this is a relatively thick stock, 1.5, actually I'm not, hold on a second. Sorry, 0.13 inches, so 130 thou thick, 440C blade steel. It's got 3 slabs of G10 here, and I know it's reflecting in the light here, all the titanium and the steel. But when you look at the curves of the handles, I don't know, it's just not perfect, if you will. And so you can really see a lot of the handmade elements to it. You know, when you look at the pin for the closing latch on this, you know, it's basically, you know, sanded down here, very rough edges around here. It almost feels like it was an old nail that he broke off on both sides and then kind of just sanded it down a little bit so that it would be able to latch, you know, onto each side. You know, these screws, I don't know, it's almost like he put screws in random places to put everything together. And this is not to knock his style. I mean, this is kind of just what he, you know, what he's about. When you look at this little pin here where it stops to, I guess this would be considered the stop pin for the Balisong. I'm not really that familiar with Balisongs, but you know, they're very unrefined. They're not finished. Those, you know, that kind of, I don't know, that kind of look, I guess, if you will. So, you know, the jimping up on top here, this is obviously a Wharncliffe blade, a chisel ground Wharncliffe blade. Very steep primary bevel, or only bevel since it's a chisel grind. So it's not hollow ground or anything, it's just a flat cut. So you see how steep that is. So it makes for, you know, obviously it's a chisel grind, but it gets extremely steep, extremely fast. So all this then you have is just, you know, 130 thou thick of blade stock. But being that it is, you know, 2 inches, the entire blade is only 2 inches or shorter, that makes this completely US 50 state legal. So that's kind of a cool thing, you know, to be able to have if you want a butterfly. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, it actually opens quite nicely. It actually feels relatively nice in hand for a small Balisong. So, I mean, I think some people might look at it and kind of be like, you know, it's total novelty knife or something that you would think that you could get, you know, for cheap. But, you know, all things considered, the materials are decent. So on this one, you have blue-black G10 for one side of the handle, so for the flipping handle. And then for the blade-sided handle, you know, you have G10 on one side, and then this is actually titanium. So I don't know. I'm just assuming that's kind of like a loose scrap of titanium that he had, and he's like, I'm going to turn this into a handle. So again, you see some of the hand finishing work here. It's not necessarily rough around the edges. It's smooth beveling, but it's definitely not machine ground or machine beveled or anything like that. Inside, you do have phosphor bronze washers, and it works just as smooth as, say, the Benchmade 51 that runs on bronze phosphor washers as well. So overall, you got two little, I don't know if those are titanium or steel pillars standoffs in there, and then right here you got a G10 kind of spacer, whatnot. So again, I'm not that familiar with Balisongs, and if you could do tricks with something so small. If you're an accomplished flipper, I'm sure you'd be able to do some kind of tricks with this. But again, just wanted to kind of get this out there, just so people know what's out there. This is my first time ever hearing about Nathan Dewey. When you look at this blade, it looks like it's upside down. You would expect the blade to be like this, but this is a total Warncliffe blade, again, chisel ground. So just a little size comparison, against the Sebenza handle. It's just about the same size as a Sebenza handle, probably the same size as the Benchmade 51 handle when it's closed. So that's how small it is. So that's, again, California legal, you'd be able to hold a knife. Techno actually looks pretty big compared to the knife. So obviously, if I had any of these other options for knives, and being that all these are legal except for the 51, I would much rather just carry one of these folding knives. I've been finding that the PT is such a great little knife to just throw in your pocket. It just disappears in your coin pocket or in your normal jean pockets or whatever. Techno is the same thing. These two knives give you, for me at least, gives me full 4-finger grip. And very capable blade, really good blade steel. And considering, the price at least on the Techno, is going to be maybe a little bit more than the Nathan Dewey. I don't know. You have the whole custom flavor of having something like this, but honestly, I'd much rather go for something like the Techno. Even though this is a little bit fun to flip, since I've had it. I have enjoyed just kind of playing around with it and kind of just screwing around and stuff like that. So it's fun, but at the same time I also have the 51 to be able to play around with as well. So anyway, just a really quick look at this Nathan Dewey mini Gremlin. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, appreciate you guys watching, and you guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Bye.